Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Colleen O'Brien. This is Keryn S. Lee, and together we are the Two Unholy Healers. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today, either live or on the replay. And today we're going to be talking about working with angels. So I had originally come up with this because it's December. Happy December, everybody, when we're recording this. And I always sort of think of angels around the holidays, that holiday season. So I thought it would be kind of festive and fun and light, since we've had so many episodes about demons and Lucifer. Like, maybe we should start talking about angels for a change.
Yeah, something a bit different, something a bit lighter, and something that really anyone can relate to. As Colleen was saying earlier, most people have an angel story. Hello, honey. Most people have an angel story. This is one of my little angels, Lorene.
Hi, Lorene.
And
Thank you so much for being here.
we were actually together yesterday doing a three-way swap with another lady. So one person runs a body process on someone else, one does access bars, and then one person on the table, and we sort of rotate around. And as I was saying to Colleen earlier, during the session, I said, hey, we've got a team of angels working with us here today. And Lorene said, oh man, this white light just kind of popped into my awareness. And so we were all really aware of it. But what it often says to me is, when angels show up during a healing session, is that there is deeper work being done and facilitated. And in normally, I mean, that was a fun day, and yes, we're doing healing and that, but it's a session with friends. Whereas when I'm with a client, when I see the angels roll in, it's like, okay, we're going deep today. We're getting to some good stuff. And every time those angels have shown up, for me personally, because everyone works with them a little bit differently, but every time they show up for me, something usually big is going to happen. And what generally happens is I kind of get to just sit back and watch as the angels do their thing. And it pretty much feels like it's out of my hands altogether. And that, then something kind of big's happening. The other thing is when someone needs a message of encouragement or support, or just to know that they're not alone or something like that. That's another time when maybe towards the end of the session, an angel might just show up and give a message.
That is traditionally what angels are known for. They are the messengers, right? Exactly. So that makes perfect sense. Yeah. And how beautiful that you can be that interpreter for somebody.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so fun. I mean, you know yourself, Colleen, like the messages as they come through, they just come with so much love and so much non-judgment and just that unconditional love. And it's really beautiful to be in that energy and feel that energy.
Lorraine said agreed. She feels very honored to be a part of the process when they pop in. Yeah, it is. It is a really special time when a healing is marked with an angel's presence. So and it's such a beautiful energy as well. And as I was saying to Keryn in the green room, they're there to do the work, right? They're not just there to hang out and be a spectator, right? Like they're there to really actually, get their hands dirty, so to speak. Yeah. So, I love the way that you put it, Keryn. You're like, I know this is going to be a deep healing. Like, we're really going to uncover something when they show up. And I love, and so often angels are a positive sign for people, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. There was an experience with my mum, and as we were saying before, so many of you will know someone who has had an experience with an angel, or have had something happen yourself with an angel. Like, these stories have not been perpetuated for eons of time if there wasn't some substance to that. We have stories going back to the Bible and beyond, in things like Greek mythology and all sorts of things. Across the entire planet. These stories would not continue if in the way they do. And, as Colleen was saying earlier, with things like angel cards and stuff like that, they wouldn't be there if we didn't have such a belief in them, a knowing about them, a sense of feeling them around us and all of that sort of thing. And my mum had a accident. Well, she almost had an accident. She was driving along. I think she was behind a truck. I don't remember the full story that happened. She had a friends in a car behind her, but what I do know is she got into a situation where she was being run off the road. Well, maybe the truck was coming the other way. She was being run off the road, and she said there was that moment where she knew like she was gone. There was no way she could bring the car back onto the road, but she felt the steering wheel just go boom and get pulled back onto the road in a way that she cannot even describe. It's almost like she has a little bit of a blank there. But she said the people in the car behind her said, we have no idea how you got out of that situation. Like, it just is not logically possible. So, stories like that, where it obviously wasn't time for her to go, and she got that support and, maybe brought some level of awareness to her at the time as well.
Yeah, yeah, and like angel stories like that aren't all that uncommon, right? Like if you talk to
Exactly.
any like EMT or somebody who's running an ambulance or something, like they'll know. They're like, I can't explain this, man. Like it just was divine intervention. Like there's no way. Like I was on the scene. There is no way that person should have been able to walk away, but there they were without a scratch on them, right? So yeah, and we don't, for whatever reason, like we don't condemn people for being crazy for that. And Lorraine has something to share too, an angel story. It totally happened to her when she was on her last trip in New Zealand. Rode off the car, but it was totally fine. Yeah, I think there might even be like a whole legion of just angels who were appointed when we invented the automobile to make sure that we don't like become extinct, right? Like So thank you, angels, for keeping us safe on the roads. So we're glad you're okay, Lorraine. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Well, we had mentioned angel cards. Like that was actually my first entry into really exploring, learning more about the angels. I think I had shared in our last episode about this woman who appeared to me in a dream, and this was, I still don't always remember my dreams all that well, but this was so vivid. And, then I went to, randomly was in a bookstore and I saw this product. I don't know, the Archangel Power Tarot cards. And this was the woman who was in my dream. That's exactly her. She had actually introduced herself as Archangel Ariel.
Wow.
And when she did, I was like the Little Mermaid. Like I was just such a crass little, like whatever. I think it says here. You can. I thought my camera was reversed. So yeah. So Archangel Ariel. These are the tarot cards, the Strength card. I don't know if that's maybe if I go a little bit further.
Looks good. That looks
good. Yeah. And then she's also she's got. I particularly like this one with the pink. Of her just being, again, surrounded by abundance and, again, the, money issues and stuff like that. So she's one of my favorites, and the archangels in particular, I find to be really, really fun to connect to, talk with, learn about, and again, like, getting your own angel cards. Like, it's just such a kind of a fun, entry into, learning more, exploring more of those energies, which, I think a lot of us do, or, maybe even forget about, like, because once it's kind of like a gateway, right? Once we start learning more and becoming more conscious and learning more healing techniques, we may, not necessarily always be using the cards as well, because we don't have to, like, we can tap into those energies without needing a tool. But it's kind of fun to come back to every now and again.
It really is. And like, notice the energy that you feel when you look at one of those cards. Like, it just looking at that representation of that angelic energy kind of opens your heart, and it just makes you feel for that moment. I think kind of tap into that essence within yourself, and that essence of the angels, of creator, of God, of all that is. I think it takes us to that place for a moment, and in that place we find that level of hope, of, if you're in a difficult situation, that hope that something is going to get better or can be greater. because sometimes we just need to believe in ourselves, and we just need that little bit of encouragement. And I think the essence of the angels and the angel cards and all of those things is really about reminding us who we are. And when we see those images, we tap into the energy of that, the reminder of that energy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember when I was taking the practitioner's course for you and the creator, and you talk about the different planes of existence in the philosophy of theta healing. The angels are on the fifth plane of existence, and particularly the upper fifth plane. And I remember my instructor saying, sometimes you want to connect to those angels because it's kind of like getting a warm hug, right? Like they want to put that blanket around you. It's very nurturing. It's still a very loving energy. I mean, there's still other planes as well that you can connect to that are quote unquote higher or more expansive, I would say, because it's not in linear space. But yeah, sometimes you really just want to connect to that and just sort of feel soothed by that. And the angels are great for that. Lorraine says, when I talked about it being a gateway, freaking gateway to the world, like the world of woo-woo.
The world of woo-woo. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and how great to have it's usually when here in the States anyway, when we talk about gateways, it's like a gateway drug, right? Like that you start something light and then you get something even harder. So it's kind of fun to be like, oh, let's start with the light stuff and then let's get into the real like healing energy modalities. So
and of course they're very connected to our experience here on Earth, because we have our guardian angels and our guides and all of that sort of thing that very much help us to stay on track, to support us energetically with everything that we're doing, to just kind of nudge us in different directions sometimes. And I think coming back to the the reason angels are kind of with us, I think I remember one time, long time ago, when I was in a really difficult period of my life, something had happened. Oh, that's right. I'd had this dream, this kind of vision that scared the crap out of me. And, a few things sort of manifested after that. And I remember being on my knees one day, literally crying my eyes out of there is no hope, all is lost kind of situation. And I just had this moment of awareness, this kind of like something just shifted around me. And all of a sudden, I just sat up and went, oh, I know what to do. And I'd gone from this place of complete despair with no hope to boom, I've got an idea. And that idea changed everything. And I know in that moment that there was angels around me going, hey, what about this? Or what about that? Hey, dum-dum, wake up. So, and I think we need those nudges every now and then when we get into that place of darkness where we can't see where we are anymore. We can't see who we are. We can't, we can't dig our way out of the pile of doo-doo that we've got ourselves into. And they're there to give us those little nudges and remind us who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love too that, they don't, for me anyway, I connect with a lot of warrior angels. Like I've had lifetimes as my soul as being a warrior angel. So it shows that you can still be strong and tough and loving at the same time, right? Like you can set those boundaries. You can, not be a doormat, not let everybody walk all over you. So I really connect with, and I'm going to show another thing of angel cards. So the Kyle Gray card deck, the angel prayers, again, it's so reflective. There we go. But that's Archangel Michael, who is on the cover. Maybe it's easier to see him on this one. And he's got that sword, right? A lot of people say he's got a flaming sword too. Like he does not mess around, man. He is just like the angel at arms. And,
Yeah.
it can be, really powerful energy to tap into too, especially if you're feeling disempowered or, at your lowest, to know that, you've got some people at your back who aren't just going to be like these procedural things. Like they're going to go kick some ass for you, right? Like kind of imbue you with that energy. And I remember like, there's these, fiction novels, romance novels that are every kind of genre, but there are genres of romance novels with angels. And I don't remember the title of it because this was years ago, but it was one, he was having a fight. And I remember they were describing he was, had somebody at his throat who was, a demon or something like that. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, this is the way that I send him back to the light, is I send him love. And it just sort of, this was before I was really into a whole lot of spiritual stuff, but it just sort of did my head in that you could have somebody by the throat and be in like this life and death battle and then send them love in that moment. I was like, how is that even possible? And of course in the story it worked, right? So that's a real skill to flex, is to be that, to stand in your power and still be able to radiate that love, right?
Absolutely. And then the other thing is, we have the awareness that you can actually ask for their help as well. Like sometimes they show up for us, but you can actually ask for them to support you. You can ask for them to come in. You can ask to connect with them. I used to teach a class years ago. I used to do a lot of what I called special topic evenings, and people would just come together like once a month, and it was a different topic each month. One of them was, I think, Talk to the Angels, I think it was called. And so we would just get people to sit there and just ask their angels to come closer. First exercise. And everybody in the room, there was never anyone that could not feel the shift in energy around them just by asking their team of angels to come closer. And, some would feel like a touch on their cheek or a wisp of hair sort of being blown, or just a whole, like their hand was being held, or something that made them feel like, yes, we're here. But the recognition that you can ask, you can just say, hey guys, come a bit closer, let me feel that you're there, I just really need to feel that, or whatever the wording is. That you don't have to have some special ritual and repeat 3 times with a crystal on your head or some other thing. It's just like, hey guys, I just need some support right now, come on in and give me a big hug or something like that. And also that you can ask for their support when you're doing healing work and stuff like that, if you want to. I tend to find for myself with the theta healing that I generally just work with Creator, and I'll just say, hey, Creator, what's going on? Or Creator, send some help, or whatever, through Creator. And that tends to work best for me, and then Creator sends whatever is required. So I don't really specifically call to the angels as much now. But that doesn't mean they don't come and they don't support. And I think for people, especially that are on their sort of spiritual journey, definitely reach out and ask for that support with your angelic team, even if it is just to have that realization that they are there and you're not alone. And we all need to feel that at times in our journey, that we're not alone and that we're being supported. So.
Yeah. Lisa says, thank you for the reminder that we can ask our angels to come closer. Yes, awesome. And it's great to see you, Lisa. Thanks so much for coming to the show. It's awesome to see you in our audience. And I the angels love that when you ask for help, right? Because the law of free agency is still in effect, right? Like, we talked about those divine interventions, right? When they just kind of swoop in like, oh, it's not their time. Let's just fix this right now. But often they, they're there to help, but you have to give them permission to do that.
You have to. And if I can just jump in, because I think one of them was just whispering in my ear of this little reminder. I had one of these days where I just really needed to feel that support around me. And right next to me was this, I had a little kind of fold up table, and all of my books, like a heap of stuff, was on this table. And I put it out there. angels, please come closer. I really need to feel you around me right now, whatever the plead was at the time. And I remember feeling a bit of the shift in the energy, but it's like it wasn't enough. Like I need a big signal today. Like, angels, please come and show yourselves, like as if they hadn't done it the first time. And what happened was this table, it's like one of the legs just buckled and the whole thing fell on the ground. All the books went everywhere. And it's like, oh, okay. Next time I'll listen the first time, you know. Sometimes we get those experience, or we ask, you know, we put it out there, we get the signal or the sign, we don't acknowledge it because we want it to be bigger, or we want it to be greater, or more like you know, a whole choir of angels standing around us going, oh. It's not always like that. Sometimes it's really subtle, and you have to be willing to you know, listen, feel, sense, know, you know, those subtle little signs.
Yeah, and recognize it without any doubt. I love that you asked for something bigger, right? Like, yeah, that wasn't enough. Like, you know,
that's not
like,
enough.
Yeah. Like, I know you could do more than that. Yeah, I love that. You know, but then you know, you got to have that discernment, right? Like, because sometimes a feather is just a feather, right? Like, you know, or those angel numbers. Like, you know, I love sometimes seeing those repeating numbers, or numbers that have a significance to me, when it's very serendipitous. It's like I'm not searching for it, but I notice it. And then it's like, oh, you know, it just kind of brings that into awareness and like shifts me to be like, oh, right. Like, let me change my thinking a little bit. Let me focus on more of a positive avenue right now. You know, but I do know some people who are always just on the hunt for angel numbers, or will only book things on certain days because, oh, it's 11/11 or 12/12 or whatever. It's like, never mind that it's inconvenient. They got to rearrange everything in order to make that work. But it's the angel number. Like, the angels are only going to support me if they're double numbers. It's like, no, they're not that limited, man. Like, they can show up whenever, right?
Yeah, and we can get a bit caught up in that sometimes, and it's like, no, that's just you know, they can be signs and stuff like that we said, but they're also just numbers, and we have to really use our discernment. And we also have to recognize that we are actually in charge of what we create in our reality. We are the ones directing the show. Now, yes, there are, you know, agreements that we have when we came here. We have guides and angels supporting us. We have our own soul purpose, for want of a better word. All of these things come into play, but ultimately we have free will, and we have the ability to create anything that we want. So I often see people limiting themselves by what you just said, those, oh, well, it has to be a certain number, has to be done on a certain day, I'm waiting for a sign. It's like, well, instead of waiting for a sign, why don't you get off your butt, go do something different, make a choice, do something. And as you start walking, as you start doing or being or choosing, then the energies can come in to support you. But if we're just waiting for those numbers or those signs, sometimes we can really hold ourselves back.
Yeah. Inspired action is such an important part of any sort of manifestation. Any sort of
is that what you call getting off your butt?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know, you gotta phrase it in a way that the client is ready to hear it. Right. And so, you know, sometimes you can, like, you know, sort of like give them a little slap upside the head and be like, you got to do something. And other times you got to be, you know, in that more like angelic, you know, like maybe just take a walk. Right. Like, maybe see where that takes you. So, you know, you tune into, you know, you got to know your audience. But yeah, like sometimes you do have to get off your butt. Like, the angels can't do it all for you. They're on your team. They will help you, but it's ultimately your journey. Like you said, you are in charge, and you get to create the reality that you want. And you can choose how much you want to invite them in to be involved. Because there are, you know, angels that specialize in certain things. Like, you could be as specific or as general as you want, right? So if you want to do like an internship with the healing angels with Archangel Raphael, like, you could totally do that. Like, when you fall asleep, you just be like, hey, can I go to angel school? Can I go to healer school? And you totally can. You know, but other people are just like, you know what, angels, like, whatever I need, like, you know, I'm just going to hand it over to you. And that works as well. So you can get as involved or as not as you want with them. But just remember that they're there for you. They're there to support you and help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's for sure. It's nice to have those reminders. So, are there any questions anyone has today before we sort of wrap things up here? Any questions, comments that you'd like to make? An angel story that you would like to share? While we're just waiting for some comments, Colleen, do you have anything coming up that you'd like to share before we sort of head out?
Sure. I actually have 2 online classes coming up this month. So you can go to my website, colleenobrien.com, to learn more about them. They are the You and Creator class as well as the basic class. Both of them are theta healing classes, and both of them are online. So if that fits into your schedule, you can find it there, as well as, all the other goings on that I have there. And if you're not already on my email list, click on the link on my website to join the email list so you can get updates as well. So that's what I got going on. How about you, awesome. Keryn? What do you got?
I have nothing. I'm actually taking a really nice break. I'm still seeing clients up until the 22nd of December. Then I'm going to be taking at least 3 weeks off because it just feels like a real time of transition and a time for self-care and a time for just kind of drop everything and just be in that space of receiving, lots of walks in nature and, lots of stuff like that. So I've done my final classes for this year, but of course there will be lots more coming up next year. And also, handy little gift, Secret Healers Business by Keryn Lee, if any of you are looking for a gift or something to read over the holiday season. I will be doing some online classes in the new year as well, some online theta classes and others. Secret Healers Business class is going to now be a 2-day class. That'll be coming up next year as well. So there will be more about that in the future. Can't see any comments or anything at the moment. So let's share a little bit about what we've got for next podcast.
Yes. So our next podcast is going to be in 2 weeks, December 15th, December 16th, depending upon where you are in the world. And we're going to be, since we're leading into the holidays, we're going to be talking about handling addictions during the holiday season, because we often will overindulge. So we're going to talk about, well, what are we going to talk about? You had a lot of inspiration with this particular one, Keryn. So I'll let you. Oh,
include. Yes. Well, I guess it really comes back to when people that have a propensity for addictions and stuff anyway, this is heightened during the holiday season. And, I guess we haven't really fully fleshed this one out yet. We're running a little late this morning, so we did a lot of stuff sort of on the fly. But this, the energy of this podcast around addiction just kind of pinged, and it just felt like it's something that I've worked a lot with different people. It's something that I've worked a lot with myself. And of course, under all of these things are, those underlying energies of why people have these addictive behaviors anyway. So we're going to be looking at some of that. We're going to be looking at some of the strategies and things that people can do and that sort of thing over Christmas and just the whole, addiction thing in general. Also, thank you, Lorraine, who's just asked, where can you get my book? So you can get it from Amazon. You can also go to secrethealersbusiness.com. There's some links on there that you can get different, it shows you where you can get the book from different places. And ebook and the physical book is available. And I think it's $17.95, I think, for the book, Australian. But you can order through Amazon in whatever country that you're in or whatever. So thanks, Hum, for that reminder.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, it's published by Balboa Press, which is a division of Hay House. So, I imagine it'd be, wherever books are sold, you might even be able to go to Balboa Press's website or Hay House's website as well.
Yeah.
So there's plenty outlets for you to get it.
Mm-hmm. And you can also just contact me, especially if you're in Australia and you want a signed copy. I'm happy to do that. I can post it out to you. If you're in the States, I'm more than happy to sign copies, or any other countries, but it's going to cost more for postage. That's the only thing. So just be aware of that.
And let's double check, because shortly after you sent me my signed copy, the United States quit accepting mail from Australia. So I'm not sure what the status is right now. So if you were to send it, it's going to take a really long time, because it's going to sit in a warehouse somewhere before they're going to let it go.
That's interesting, because I did send one to another lady in the States a couple of weeks ago. Oh no, actually probably a month ago now, and she did get hers.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it would definitely be something that we have to look into anyway. But you can. Well,
yeah, I'm glad. Anyway. I'm glad she got it. Yeah, because like I said, I hadn't really. It was one of those things where the news would sensationalize, like, oh, mail stopped, but then when it started up again, like, that's not a top story. So I probably didn't hear about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right, lovelies. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for those who've shown up and been present with us today. We really appreciate you adding your energy in. And also for those who watch later, super glad that you pop in when you can and listen to the podcasts. We really have a lot of fun doing them, and we love sharing them with you guys as well. Whether you're watching in person or later, please feel free to drop us questions, comments, ideas for topics, or anything like that at any time. And we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time for our addictions podcast.
Yes. Maybe we can foster an addiction to the Two Unholy Healers podcast.
Absolutely. They can be good addictions, right?
Exactly. So thanks so much all for watching. It was great to have you here, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.
Bye-bye. I always forget there's 2 buttons.